Hey everybody, checking in from frigid South Texas right now. Thank you for joining me. This is Susan Lynn, Psychic Medium. Hope the volume is better for you guys. Sorry about the last video. Everybody was saying the volume was a little lower than normal. So I am talking into the microphone right now. So hopefully that helps. Listen, I want to first of all say thanks to everybody who's been checking in on me via all different forms of communication. I really appreciate it. It's just heartwarming and wonderful. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. So I want to talk right now about, right now it's 33 degrees, which is very abnormal for us. But that's a high. So we're happy, and I have power and I have heat. I do have to boil water, but I don't have any broken pipes. So I am very fortunate. I'm much more fortunate than many of my friends. Many of my friends went days, and I mean 3 days, 4 days, and 5 days with no power, no water, no heat, in temperatures that ranged from 15 degrees to 30 degrees. Many of my friends experienced temperatures inside their home below freezing. Our homes are not made for this. Our pipes are not insulated. Our homes are not insulated for this kind of weather because we don't experience this kind of weather. It's been terrible. And I'm not going to go into all of that right now, I don't think. I just want to let everybody know that I've been very fortunate. I was without power for about 18 hours. While we did have power, we, opened our house for hot meals and hot showers to whoever could make it here. The problem is no one could travel. The roads were icy. The bridges were shut down. We don't have salt. We don't have ways of dealing with this kind of winter weather. So the way we deal with it is we don't go anywhere. We stay home. Schools are closed. Everything closes. I saw Kroger's was open one day. You could only go in a few people at a time. There was no power, and you had to have your cell phone or a flashlight to be able to shop, and you had to pay with cash. After that, the grocery stores were completely shut down because their freezer, they had lost power. So all of their meat spoiled, all of their freezers had to be emptied and thrown away. So there's no food either right now. There's no fresh food anywhere. The list goes on. I am near Houston. We are very fortunate here because we didn't get this. After that terrible cold freeze, the rest of Texas got another freeze of ice. That freeze stopped just before it got to Houston. So we were lucky. We didn't have any more freezing rain. We've just had freezing temperatures. So the rest of Texas is enduring what we down here and them have been enduring for the past week, but it continues for those people in other parts of Texas. So please send, all the healing energy that you would like to send. Please send it to them. They really need it right now. I'm sure you've heard news reports. It's all true, plus more. But like I said, what I want to talk about to you today is actually something maybe helpful to you. And I'm sorry I'm wearing my hoodie. It's 66 degrees in the house with heat on. So it's a little bit chilly. We can't get the house heated because like I said, our houses are not built for this kind of thing. So I want to talk to you about the messages that I got about this freeze from my guides and how I did not listen to them. So this is a cautionary tale of, once again, do not do what Susan does. Please learn from me because I'm too stubborn my own self. So the first thing that happened was back in December, I got a message from my guides, and it came as a thought. The thought was, wrap your pipes. And I duly noted that thought, and I thought, that's a good thought. I need to wrap the pipes. The house that I have, an investment house, it's a 1940s era cottage, and it's raised off the ground a few feet, and there's no insulation. There's no insulation at all in that house, anywhere. However, I had the house replumbed because it was a fixer, and I used PEX PEX plumbing, which is like a flexible hose, and supposedly it doesn't freeze. So I knew the majority of the house was in good shape, but I also knew there were probably just little pieces here and there that I needed to wrap that hadn't been replaced. So I duly noted that, and I thought, yes, I need to do that. This is in December. December in this part of Texas is average 60 degrees. 60. And we had a really mild December, so many times it was 75 degrees. So it's kind of hard to think about wrapping your pipes, right? The next thing that happened is, this was in beginning of January. The next thing, well, of course, they reminded me about every 3 weeks. About every 3 weeks, I'd get an impression. Wrap your pipes. Wrap your pipes. And I would put it off, okay? Because it would require me climbing under the house, and, it's just it wasn't going to be easy. So I put it off. The next impression they gave me was, now this is important because I want to show you how you get messages from your guides in different ways. Okay, so the first thing I got was an impression, a thought, wrap your pipes. The second thing that happened was someone mentioned to me, or was telling a story about someone else actually. This was in January. They mentioned jumper cables for their car. They needed jumper cables and they didn't have any. And I thought, okay, the word jumper cables jumped out at me. It had energy around it. It had movement. It had energy. It was like ding, 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 jumper cables, ding, 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 jumper cables. Well, I thought to myself, well, my truck is 4 years old. I just paid it off. The battery should be good, but I don't have jumper cables, but I do have AAA. So see how your rational mind starts getting involved? The message was jumper cables, but my rational mind started rationalizing why I didn't need jumper cables. My truck is not that old. I don't live in the frigid north, which sometimes causes your battery to drain faster. And I have AAA, roadside assistance, so I don't need jumper cables. Fast forward, a week later, I'm sitting at my computer. Jumper cables pops into my head. Now, the first time, remember, it was somebody said the word, and the word had energy. The word had some kind of thing around it that made me take notice. Once you start recognizing that and catching it, you'll see that they're sending you messages even when other people are talking. A word or a conversation will stick in your brain. It's like what I call a Post-it note. They'll stick a Post-it note in your brain and remind you. It just it stays there. You can't remember what you had for dinner yesterday, but for some reason, jumper cables. So I'm sitting at my computer and jumper cables. Okay, so I look up Amazon because I didn't want to go out. This is another problem. I with this newer strain and everything that's going on with the C19, my guides put the lockdown on me. I was not even going to the grocery store very often. I literally didn't go anywhere. I literally went to ground and stayed home. So when I needed jumper cables, when I thought about buying jumper cables, I thought, well, I'm not going to, and the same thing with the pipe wrap. I didn't want to go to the hardware store and buy pipe wrap because I didn't want to go out. So it was compounded by this whole thing of I don't want to go shopping. I don't want to go anywhere that's absolutely, what I thought was unnecessary. So that compounded the problem. So now I'm sitting at my computer and I'm thinking about jumper cables. So I go to Amazon and I type in jumper cables, and what pops up is jumper cables for $29. And then right next to it is this little power station that has jumper cables in it and has the ability to hold a charge in this little battery, I guess, and that battery would charge your cell phone, and it would also jump your car without having to have another car around. So it's basically a little power unit, right? So I'm looking at this thing, and this is another way your guides send you messages. First of all, they put something right in front of you. So in front of these jumper cables, right next to like items other people have bought, right there. There it is. And I look at it. And now I live in an area that gets hit with storms, hurricanes. I'm always thinking about some kind of ulterior power. I'm always thinking about that. That's on my mind once a year, twice a year. And I looked at this little thing and I thought, that could be really handy. But it was $69. And I thought, well, the jumper cables are $29 and my guides have been telling me to save money, right? So I'll just buy the jumper cables, right? Because that's what they're telling me to get. So I go to click on the jumper cables, but they keep this is what they do. They make you look. They made me look at this little power thing. And I kept looking at it. So I opened it up and I'm looking at the specs and I'm like, this is really cool. For $69, this is a really good thing to have. And the reviews are amazing and everything. So, but I'm still conflicted because I can't see why I need it practically, right? Practicality gets in the way and I can't see how could I need this, right? I mean, it's January. It's not hurricane season. I don't need this. It's a waste of money. It's going to be another thing I'm going to buy and it's going to sit in the box and I'm going to forget I have it and it's a waste of money. But guess what? I click on another page. I go on about my life, come back the next day. Boom. There's the Amazon page. I click on it. There's that thing still in front of me. So I put it in my cart. I don't know if you guys do this, but I put things in my cart for further consideration, right? So when I get ready to buy, I go through the things in my cart and I'm like, out, in, out. So I put things often in my to buy later, which kind of keeps it close to my attention. So I put it in the to buy later category. And I didn't even buy the jumper cables. I didn't buy anything because, again, the guides are saying, keep your money. Don't make unnecessary payments or cost or, purchases. So I don't buy it. So here we are. I didn't buy the pipe wraps. I didn't buy the little charger thing. And there was one more thing that they put before me that I didn't buy that I remembered and now I've forgotten. So, hopefully it'll pop in my head, right? But here's the thing. When this winter storm, so 3 weeks later, what was that third thing? 3 weeks later, when they tell me that, the meteorologists say, okay, we have a winter storm coming, and they said, this is no joke. This is the real deal. This is going to be really bad. So I immediately, we're kind of good at disasters here. I went and bought ingredients and I made several casseroles because I knew that they could be, easily eaten without having to cook, right? Even though I have gas appliances, which is what you desperately need, because if you have electric, you are sunk. You have nothing. You cannot cook. You cannot make coffee. You cannot do anything. So I knew I have a way to heat it up because I have gas appliances. So I started buying the ingredients. I made the dishes in advance. I bought water because down here we buy water. If it's going to rain, 50 inches of rain, we still buy water because you need water. So I bought water. I bought cat food. I bought dog food. I bought all these things. And I prepared. And then I remembered with this sinking feeling. And I mean, I can't tell you how sinking of a feeling this was that I did not buy pipe wrap. And I did not wrap my pipes. And my house, that this 1940s cottage is 45 minutes away from where I live. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. Now I'm starting to freak out because I've done all this other prepping, but I didn't listen to my guides. And now I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay big. So I immediately get in the car, drive 45 minutes, get in my truck, drive 45 minutes, and I had forgotten I had done this, but for whatever reason, when I bought that little house, I had with me a bunch of pipe wrap. Like, they're just insulated, tubes that go around your pipes. And there they were in the garage. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. So I spent, 3 hours in 50-degree weather, wrapping pipes, to the best of my ability. And then I couldn't decide whether to leave the water on. There wasn't anybody in the house. So it was empty. So I finally decided at the last minute, my guides said, turn the water off to the house. Just turn the water off and drain all the pipes. And I'm like, well, didn't I just do all this? I mean, why'd I do this if you're going to tell me to not, you know what I mean? And this is how it goes with my guides. But I did. I'm like, I'm not arguing anymore because I should have listened to you guys. Now I'm really screwed, right? So I drained the house, drained the water out. But where I think that I needed to wrap the pipes, and I did to the best of my ability, was in the garage near the hot water heater, because I didn't drain those pipes. So hopefully, I haven't even been there yet because obviously we haven't had power and all the bridges are shut down, the roads are shut down. You know, it's very weird. You can get some places, but not other places. So I wasn't able to get there, but I did listen to them and I drained the water. So, but I wish I would have had that little power thing, right? Because I didn't have any power. The only way to charge your phone was to sit in your car, and which was good because you had heat, right? But you have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. There were 500 carbon monoxide poisoning cases, and people died in their car, even outside, because if it's not vented exactly, you spend 4 hours in there. It's just not meant for that, right? And you don't want to crack the window because it's 20 degrees outside. So anyway, I ended up getting one of those things, but I paid double for it at an auto parts store. And I charged my cell phone with it. So had I been listening to my guides, I would have gotten the pipes wrapped, you know, when it was 60 degrees or 70. 2 days before this storm hit, 2 days before the storm hit, it was 77 degrees here. 77. The next day it was 50. The next day it was 20. So, big difference. So, you know, if I'd have listened to them, I would have been better prepared for this. So I hope this helps you understand how the guides can send you thoughts and how you can argue with them because they don't make practical sense. And you might not even realize it's your guides, your spirit guides. You might think, that's a silly idea. Why would I do that? You know, why did I have that idea? Typically, they're ideas that you're not thinking about. When the guides talk to you, it's ideas you're not even thinking about, right? Like buy jumper cables. Why do I need jumper cables? You know, why did I have that thought? Have you ever done that? Why did I just think about that? That doesn't make any sense. And then you discard it and you go on your way. And usually you don't even remember having that thought. That's why I say catch them. It's almost like you have to catch it because it's just fleeting. Somebody mentions something and it just resonates with you for some reason. It just resonates. You're thinking, why does that struck me? That's, you know, the jumper cable struck me funny. Why is that? Right? So it's just interesting, to learn all the different ways the guides communicate with us. They're trying to help us. They're doing their best to help us. And the more you can tune in, the more grief you can save yourself, right? I mean, luckily I did wrap, and I wrapped pipes here as well. So I didn't have any busted pipes. We did everything we could to make sure that didn't happen, within our power. Luckily though, a lot of luck played in this. Luckily, I didn't lose power for 4 days. When you lose power for 4 days, and it's 15 degrees outside and your house isn't very well insulated, the inside of your house is going to be freezing. And then your pipes, there's no way to save your pipes at that point because the heat inside your house actually helps keep those pipes from freezing. And I remember the one more thing I wanted to say. The night I lost power. Well, I lost power in the middle of the day and then it went all day and through the night and into the next day. But that night, I was going to bed and there's no power in the house. There's no power within 50 or 100 miles of this house. Get under the covers and all of a sudden the lamp goes on. And I mean bright, like because you haven't had power. It's blinding. You're like, oh my God. Well, the first thing I did was jump out of bed, scream, yes, I have power, thinking I'm going to have heat. I'm going to be able to, be normal. And I jump out of bed and I turn on the ceiling fan because something told me to check it, like I don't think the power's really on. So I turn on the ceiling fan. It doesn't work. I'm like, that's weird. So I turn on something else. It doesn't work. I go in the hallway. I turn on the hallway light. It doesn't work. I look in the bedroom. The lamp is still on. And I'm looking at the lamp thinking, oh, that's spirit. And then it goes off. It came on again later, twice. So I think that was spirit telling me, look, everything's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We're with you. You know, something that I do that I would like to be better at is when spirit comes through for me like that, I run things through, it's like an anxiety filter. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen that's bad? What are they telling me that's bad? You know what I mean? Instead of like, okay, thank you. Thank you. That's a message from spirit. That's a message maybe from my dad or whoever's crossed over that's saying, you're going to be okay. We're with you. We're giving you a big spirit hug, right? You know, that's something that I want to be better about, is seeing the positive when those things happen. But you know, it happened. And it's true. I got power, the next day about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, it was a little less than 24 hours, it got to about 50 degrees inside the house. So by all standards, I did much better than most people, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you understand how spirit is with you all the time. They're sending you thoughts. They're helping people come in with you to be co-creators, to mention words like jumper cables. They're doing everything they can to help you, you know, on your path. So all you have to do is not argue with them like I do. And hopefully you'll learn from me, right? So anyway, I want to thank you again for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me and the channel, and thank you for your thoughts and well wishes. I just really appreciate it. I could do a whole nother video about why I'm wearing a hoodie inside my house, and about Texas politics, and maybe I will, but I'm pretty upset about it, so I don't know that I will. I just, you know, it would just be a biatch session, and who needs that right now? You know, what I would like to do is impart some good information to you and hopefully help you see how spirit communicates with you every day. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. And you guys take care and be safe and be warm. We'll talk soon.